Good evening and welcome everyone to this meeting of the Corporate Policy Development Committee. My name is Councillor George Courtauld and I'm the chairman of this committee. We will now go through a few items of housekeeping. We're not expecting a fire alarm this evening, but should one sound, please can members use the exit to the rear of the chamber and assemble in the car park. Please can you make sure that your telephones and devices are switched to silent. If members wish to speak during our debates this evening, please can you indicate by raising your hand and I will come to you at the appropriate time. Please can I remind everyone to use their microphones when speaking and to switch them off when they finish speaking to avoid any interference. This meeting is also being webcasted. I will now proceed with the main business of the meeting. Agenda item 1, apologies for absence. We have received apologies from the following members: Councillor Paul Thorogood, Councillor Billy Taylor, Councillor Jim Bond, Councillor Sindhu Rajiv, Councillor Mark Alt. Are there any further apologies?
We are not aware of any further apologies. Thank you, Chairman.
I will proceed with agenda item 2, declarations of interest. Do members have any disclosable pecuniary interest, other registrable interest or non-registrable interest that they wish to declare this evening? Please state the item and the nature of your interest. If there are no declarations, I will proceed to item 3, minutes of the previous meeting. Members were asked to approve the minutes of the meeting, which took place on 4th of June 2025. Please can I have a proposer to approve the minutes? No. Thank you. And do I need a seconder? I think I do, yes. Don't I? Could I have a seconder to approve the minutes? Thank you. Thank you, members. The minutes are approved. And I will quickly... Oh, sorry. Thank you. All those in favour? Sorry, could you raise your hands? The minutes are approved and I will quickly initial each page. Thank you. I will now proceed with agenda item 4, public question time. Members, as we have no registered speakers for this evening's meeting, I will proceed with the next item of business, agenda item 5, update to the 2025-26 work programme. Members, this item is set out on pages 5 to 13 of your agendas. You will recall that the committee's work programme has been designed as a rolling document which is able to be updated throughout the year. Accordingly, the work programme has been updated in response to the recent call for topics processes held over the summer. A total of 5 topic suggestions came forward from members in response to the call for topics. The topic suggestions have been given initial consideration by Management Board, who considered the topic against the whole Council programme of works, resources and impending changes, and to assess the timelines of the suggestions. Following this, the topic suggestions, together with comments from Management Board, were considered by myself and the other 2 scrutiny chairmen. The topics are now in the process of being scoped with lead officers, so that they can be allocated to the relevant scrutiny committee and form part of their work programme. The scrutiny officer, Jess Mann, will be writing out to those members who put forward topic suggestions to provide them with an update once the topics have been considered and scoped by lead officers. The committee will receive a more detailed update as to the likely scope of the topics at the next meeting to be held on the 3rd of December 2025. Once a topic is assigned to the committee, it will form part of their work programme. The committee will then consider when the topic should come forward for a formal review, in line with the indicative timescales as set out in the work programme. In doing so, the committee will consider the topic, advice and guidance of key officers, having regard to their expertise in the area, the potential scope of the review, the relevant terms of reference and draft timetable of meetings. I'd just like to highlight that one topic suggestion received as part of the recent call for topics concerned the rollout and communication to residents on the new curbside recycling. At this stage, a scrutiny review into the topic would be premature, as the new waste collection programme has not yet been delivered by the Council. However, it has been agreed that a full update on the new waste collection programme will be provided to the committee at its upcoming meeting in the new year, 25th of Feb. This is in line with the promise provided by Councillor Tom Cunningham when the waste review consultation and policy update was considered by the committee on the 9th of April 2025. Also included within the report is a summary of the policies and strategies that have been reviewed by the committee during 24-25. Further policies and strategies are expected to come through in 2025-26. Do members have any questions or comments regarding the report? Oh, sorry. Councillor Finken.
This may be out of order, but wouldn't it have been courteous to actually list what the suggestions were in the report? Because this is just a load of words of things that we already know, and I think it's pretty pointless, really. And the only thing that would be of interest is the actual points that have been put forward, the ideas that have been put forward, and that doesn't appear in the report.
I think that's a perfectly good point, Jess.
It's a very fair comment, Councillor Finken, thank you. The reason that they haven't been included yet, the topics that came forward, is mainly because they're still being scoped and looked at. So the way that they have been submitted isn't necessarily the exact way they will look later.
It would have been interesting to know what they were.
Yes, and as I say, I will be writing out to all, to those members first who submitted the topics to give them an update. They have already been written to, but just to give them an update as to where they are. But I will also obviously do an update to all other members as well, just to explain which topics came forward and how they will be coming forward. But just because we don't have that detail yet, that is the reason. But I do completely understand where you're coming from, and thank you. It's a fair comment.
Thank you, members. If there are... Sorry, are there any further questions? Thank you, members. If there are no further questions, we're asked to note the updated work programme of the committee for 2025-26. Please can I take it that the report has been noted? Perhaps I could have a show of hands. Thank you, members. The report has been noted. We will now proceed with agenda item 6, scrutiny review into ASB update. Members, for this item, I'll hand over to Jessica Mann, Scrutiny Officer. Over to you.
Thank you, Chairman. Members, this is just to give you an update on the committee's most recent scrutiny review, which was into antisocial behaviour. So the report of the committee with the recommendations, I think there were roughly 5, that went to Cabinet on the 22nd of September, and that was just for them to receive the report. Cabinet have, in the meantime, gone away, worked with the lead officer for ASB, which is Colin Cox, to come up with a response to the recommendations. So the report with the response will go to the next Cabinet meeting, which is in November, that is on the 27th of November, where they will approve the response officially. After that, it will go to full council for it to be received there, so everyone will receive a copy of that response. So this is just to really let you know that that is still ongoing, and that obviously once the recommendations have all been, and the responses to those have been approved, and there's a plan in place, you will receive a regular update as to how those are being implemented and where they're going, and if maybe we need to bring that back to the committee at a later date to get a progress update, that will happen. So that's just the stage we're at the moment. Thank you, Chair.
Again, this is a completely empty item. We're not being given any information at all about it. We could have been informed about this. People have travelled quite a long distance in a couple of cases to get to this meeting. We could have just been sent a note, over the internet to find out the information. It's pointless our being here to hear that information. And I would say that the Wednesday the 3rd of December has got the same item on about the ASB. Is there going to be any more information then, or will they have not gone through the process by that time?
Well, it will have gone to Cabinet by that time. Not full council, no, but it will have gone to Cabinet. So there will be responses to the recommendations in the report. So there will be an update for you at that point.
But my point is that I think we'll be in exactly the same position for the next meeting. It'll be an empty agenda. There'll be no point in us coming here. And I think really, as with the planning forums and planning meetings and so on, where there's no content, they should be stopped. They shouldn't occur. And I just think it's pointless us coming here just to hear what you've just said.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Finken. I will keep a note of those comments and I will put those back for you.
If there are no further questions, we will proceed to item 7, the decision planner. Members, the report of this item is set out on pages 14 to 15 of the agenda and concerns the decision planner for the period the 1st of November 2025 to the 31st of January 2026. Please can I invite Jessica again, as Scrutiny Officer, to present the report.
Thank you, Chairman. This is a report that's it's been slightly redesigned. So for the Corporate Scrutiny Committee, we bring a copy of the decision planner to the committee for them to look at, so they can sort of cast ahead to see what decisions are coming forward. Although the decision planner doesn't fall directly within the remit of this committee, it is still good practice to for members to be aware of what's coming forward in the decision planner, particularly in relation to upcoming policies, upcoming strategies, and what you might want to look at a later point as part of your work programme. So that is just to bring this to your attention, to give a bit further context around the decision planner. It is just a to-note report, but it's there for you to look at, and if you have any queries regarding the decision planner, future work of the committee, then please do raise them. Thank you.
Councillor Finken.
Yes, I think the one thing that we want to pursue really is the voluntary sector work. It's been kind of kicked into the long grass. The excuse is that local government reorganisation, but talking to other councillors, we're not absolutely sure what support the council is giving to the voluntary sector at the moment in detail, and we think that that is a really important thing to be following. Now, presumably, the Cabinet or whoever have decided that it's not going to be, but I think as a committee, we ought to say we think it's really important, and we ought to give it priority, and it ought to be part of our work schedule.
Thank you. Yeah, I will take that back as well. The feedback I had was that it was due to the timing that it hasn't come forward yet, to do with LGR and such. But as I will obviously put it forward that it is committee are very keen to actually look at this and pursue it as a topic. So
Yes.
I'll take that.
I mean, just to follow up, I think we need to have our house in order before we transfer to a unitary authority.
Yes.
And the unitary authority will take on whatever the responsibilities were of the previous councils. And therefore we need to be absolutely sure that we're doing things as we think they should happen before we actually join up with the other councils. So I think, to use it as say, a reason to delay, and it's not clear when it's going to come back, I don't think it's good enough, really. And I think as a committee, we ought to say that's what we think ought to happen.
Brilliant. Thank you, Councillor Finken. We will say that. You will. Something to say?
Just on the decision planner, so obviously I've only just joined this committee. So the decision planner, the decisions only go up to the 15th of December.
Yes.
So some of those decisions, so it basically covers two meetings, the 8th, some of the decisions, the date decision 8th of December, 27th November, 8th of December and the 15th of December. So some of the, are you saying we can only look at the items that are in that decision planner?
No, not necessarily. It's just those are the decisions we know at the moment are going to be coming forward within the next 3 months. It's quite likely that a lot of those decisions, not all of them, sorry, not a lot, some of those decisions may move for different reasons. They may be pushed back. It's just to provide you with the information that we have as it currently is in terms of the decisions coming forward, and to bring that to your attention. So there's no reason that, because it's not on there at the moment, if you're aware of something, that we can't look at that as well. It's just this is what we have in the pipeline currently coming to Cabinet and Council.
So can I just clarify, so at the next meeting,
Yes.
Obviously anything that's happened on the 27th of November, that won't be possible for us to look at because that decision already taken. Is that correct? So we're only looking at...
It's not to say we can't look at it in future. Possibly for that meeting it would be a bit premature because it's only just been decided. Because if we wanted to look at something, we want to see what it was like once it's been embedded to be able to actually report on. So, if, for example, if a policy had been brought and approved at that meeting, then it needs some time to sort of embed and to get a progress report and update on that and how it's doing. So we could, add that to the work programme to look at, for example, a few months further down the line, but it might not be the best time to look at it immediately after it's only having just been approved. But, you know, there's nothing to say we can't look at it immediately. It just might not be the best time for it to come forward, and I hope that makes sense. But
Yes, I'm still not clear. So, can we only look at things where decisions have already been taken?
no. So you can look at what's coming up as well. So it's not just decisions that have been taken. Just to be clear, it's not just that. So if there is, like, for example, in previous times, this committee has looked at policies long before they've actually gone to Cabinet and to Council before they've been approved. And that's because we were aware those policies were coming forward in the pipeline. So at the moment, there hasn't been anything recently, but there are certainly ones that will come up that will come this way again. It's just the timing of it. So we're not just stuck at looking at decisions that have already been taken. We can look at policies. The best time to look at them is long before they come to Cabinet and full Council. Absolutely, especially if it's a policy or an upcoming strategy. It's just at the moment we haven't got any sort of current ones for you to look at. That's the issue we have at the moment.
So, for example, we could, if we wanted to, look at the policy which is coming to Cabinet on the 15th December, which is the Gateway to Home Choice Allocations Policy Review. We could look at that if we wanted to, for example.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I could take that back and say that committee, if you wanted to look at that, want to look at it, and it would just be what's the best way to bring that forward, either to the next meeting in December or to the ensuing meeting in the new year. It's just, and what officers we might want to come along to that as well. Because if it's a policy or a strategy, there's normally going to be an officer that's going to be the expert in that area. So we'd want them to come along to the meeting to be able to talk to you. So if we couldn't get them, for example, at that meeting in December, we might be able to get them at the following meeting in the new year, which would be the best time to look at the policy or the decision after it's been taken. But yeah, I can certainly take that back if you wanted to look at it.
Well, I don't think it's appropriate for me to, I mean, that needs to be a decision of the whole committee, and I think it's a rod balanced to everybody. I mean, I've just used that as an example, actually, so I just wanted to understand the process.
Thank you. Am I right in saying that this excludes planning and licensing?
Yes, that's excluded from the committee's remit.
And I find that the property disposal is quite interesting on the 15th of December. I'd like to understand a little bit more about that and the policies surrounding the disposal of property and assets.
Sorry, Diane, if I could just clarify. So it's the property disposals and...
Yes, property disposals. So they're due to come to as a decision on the 15th of December to approve the disposal of commercial sites for best consideration. That's something I've not looked at before, the policies surrounding how the council makes decisions on which properties it disposes of and the reasons behind it. And why assets. I know that the government did want councils to reduce their assets that were not providing best value, and I think that would be quite a good one to look at, in my opinion. Thank you.
I was actually going to ask the same question as Councillor Parker on that item because that looked quite an interesting thing to do. So we kind of haven't had this option before, I don't think, or we might have had the option, but it's not.
It's not necessarily been communicated as or explained. Members were as aware. So the option has always been there.
Right. So if we said either of those two things, which obviously both look quite interesting, it wouldn't be so much like a full scrutiny, but it would be maybe having the officer come and explain a bit more about the policy.
So it could be a bit of a knowledge gatherer around the policy. It could be a progress update if that policy's already been implemented, or if we felt that there was sort of credence into doing a full scrutiny review, we could look at that as well.
I just think, we know that the agenda tonight is a little light. That would give us a bit of an opportunity to actually not do it just for the sake of filling the agenda, but actually give us something actually to look at, which I think would is what we want to do, and it would be very useful.
Thank you, members. Has anyone got any further questions? If there are no further questions, we will proceed to... I need to note this report, don't I? If we are to note this report, please can I take it the report has been noted and have a show of hands? Thank you, members. The report has now been noted. Members, this item concludes our business for this evening. The next scheduled meeting of the Corporate Policy Development Committee is due to take place on Wednesday, the 3rd of December. I'd be grateful if members could ensure they keep a note of this date and notify the governance team accordingly if they intend to give their apologies for the meeting. Thank you to those who've watched the meeting this evening online. I will now close this meeting of the Corporate... Was someone waving? To our massive audience. Thank you to those who've watched this meeting online. I will now close this meeting of the Corporate Policy Development Committee at 7:36.